Hey guys, Filmsuit here. So I just got back from Wreck-It Ralph, and this is definitely one of the best animated films I've seen in the last 2 years. So the premise is a little similar to Toy Story, and it just in terms of concept. So the concept is um, when we don't play our video games, the characters in the video games, they actually come to life and they live in their own society within external plugins or whatever. Can't even think of the proper term, but yeah, like you get the idea. So video game characters, they come to life within their own video games when we are not around to play them. Just kind of like the toys in Toy Story, they came to life whenever the kids weren't around to play with them. And now so the plot here focuses on this villain of a popular 80s arcade game named Wreck-It Ralph, who's the villain in a once popular 80s game called Fix-It Felix Jr. And Wreck-It Ralph, he destroys buildings. That's his goal. He destroys buildings, and the hero of the game, Fix-It Felix Jr., is supposed to fix the building. And as a result, everyone praises Fix-It Felix Jr. as a hero, and Wreck-It Ralph is left an outcast. But he decides to bend the rules a bit and do something what everyone calls going turbo, which I'm not going to go into detail about what that means. But yeah, like, he decides to go turbo, and basically what that means is he goes and jumps into another video game to try to steal the highest prize of that game, and as a result, you could tell it goes awry, and basically the metal he steals the game that he steals the metal from is called Hero's Duty, which is kind of like a crossover between the Alien film franchise and Halo, those video games. And Wreck-It Ralph steals the metal from that, which results in the main character from Hero's Duty to team up with Fix-It Felix Jr. to find Wreck-It Ralph and try to get the metal back and restore order before all the game systems can basically go out of control, which would therefore destroy all the video games or put them out of order. And but Wreck-It Ralph, he ends up in this weird Mario Kart style game called I think it's called, I don't want to say Sugarland because that's a crappy country music band. Let's see here. I need to be more prepared. I need to stop looking this stuff up on reviews. Let's see here. So yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. Got a little thing there. Sugar Rush. That is the name of the game. It's a kart racing game which is very similar to Mario Kart. And he ends up in this game, and there Wreck-It Ralph meets a glitch in the game named Vanellope von Schweetz. And the two of them, this is where it gets a little formulaic, because the two of them, they form a plan. If Wreck-It Ralph, because he loses the medal, if he helps Vanellope von Schweetz build a kart and win a race, which is her goal, then she will help him find his medal and help him retrieve it. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really ignore, as my friend Caleb says, you can't really ignore formula in Disney films just because it's a Disney film, so you can't really criticize that. And honestly, there's not a lot to criticize. I mean, because this is one of the most inventive animated films I've seen. Visually, it was amazing. Like the first half of the movie is just filled with visuals that had me glued to the screen. Like they Sorry, smoked a pipe earlier. Um, so, yeah, like, they combine 8-bit animation with 3D, like, Pixar-style animation, and the way it's done, it's visually just stunning. And then, yeah, and then in The Hero's Duty, that whole sequence was fantastic. It was intense. It felt like you were actually in the game. And some of the visuals in Sugar Rush were kind of cool, but honestly, the scenes at Sugar Rush weren't quite as much of a standout, which is kind of unfortunate considering that's most of the movie right there is in Sugar Rush. But I will say that this movie, it is a little self-aware that it is a movie about video games, but they don't overkill it. It isn't just like video game reference after video game reference. They maybe throw in a few references in the first half hour, which are all funny and subtle, but after that, it's occasionally one here and there. It's not like they don't just overload it. So that was nice. It was admirable. It was making sure it was staying a movie. And but actually, some of the funniest references weren't even video game references. Like, my gosh, some of the funniest references, I will admit, a lot of the humor was in the Sugar Rush scenes. Like, for example, the main antagonist, King Candy, his henchmen are Oreos who wield spears, and as they walk, they chant Oreo. That was pretty funny. And then there are two policemen who are who are donuts, and their names are Officer Duncan and Officer Winchell, which, if you know your donut chains like I do, you will get the references there. So, yeah, like, it was really good, and the voice acting was very well done. Like, John C. Reilly as Wreck-It Ralph was great. Jack McBrayer as Fix-It Felix Jr. was funny. He was very cool. Basically doing his usual shtick. And Sarah Silverman as Vanilla Von Schweetz was great. Alan Tudyk, Wash from Firefly, he was King Candy, and you couldn't even tell it was him. It was great. It was so funny just to find out that he was the main antagonist. And now, I don't mean to turn on my computer again, but let's see here. Jane Lynch is in this movie, and she plays Sergeant Calhoun, who is the hero from the from the Hero's Duty game, and she's hilarious. She's a cross between Ellen Ripley and, again, Sarge from Halo. So yeah, and this movie's great. It's not just for the video game lovers, but it's also for kids, obviously. But yeah, it's actually for anyone who just wants a great movie, and there's a lot of nostalgia behind this for me personally, not just in terms of video games and loving kid movies, but just, oh, that came out wrong, animated movies, but just the whole excitement behind it. I honestly hadn't felt that engaged or excited during an animated film, like I said, since Toy Story 3. So bravo to Disney for making a great cartoon that is not partnered up with Pixar, and I do give it a 4.5. Now tune in the next few minutes for Skyfall.